Hiya guys, so this particular video I have been planning to do for a very long time. I just did not have the free time to do so. So this video will be going over all the changes that DC has actually gone through. So this will be aimed at old players returning to DC and have no clue what's going on. And this will be also a guide to new players who are new to the game, and just a brief explanation about how to level your mods up, what adaptive arguments are, what artifacts are, just going over the basics of DC. And for the old players, I will be briefly touching on all of the changes which they might find strange when they come back to DC. Okay. So first of all, I'm gonna go on to one of my younger characters, I think. Yeah, I'll go to this one now. So first part of the video, I will be going over the mods. Okay, so previously, before they made the changes, you had to use mods to you have to put mods into your actual gear. Like if you wanted to might damage, you had to use red mods, which were called aggressive exobites with the red symbol. If you was a healer, it would be the green ones. Tank would be blue, which are fortified. They were called fortified exobites. And the yellow ones, Vitalization Mods, were for the controllers, of course. And let me see if I can find you some. Let me have a look. I don't think I have it on this too. But all of these items had you have a hand socket, but underneath you always had a mod socket as well, so which is where you could put into your mods. So now all of that has changed, and it has come down to the Fortify menu, and it's under the section called Origin Arguments. So instead of having 8 mod sockets for damage, they have converted the 8 mods down to only 4. So these are the 4 might mods. Then you have the 4 controller mods. It actually tells you what they are for. So recommended for damage superpowers, which is might based. Then these are recommended for controllers, so you have 4 of them instead of the 8 that we used to. Then you have dominating rune, which is for controller and tanks because it gives you dominance as well. And then you have restoring, which are for healers, of course. Then precision are for your weapon based damage, and you have 4 of them as well. So now some people might be confused. Okay, they have converted the 8 mods that you could put into your gear down to 4. How do we level these up? So you can level these up using your Nth metal, which I will go over in the next part of the video, what they are and how you get them. These drop inside game just for killing enemies every 10 minutes, or you can get them from running the vault or the stabilizer event, which is another event related to time capsules, okay, which is a whole different topic. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down slowly for you guys. But I can use, these are all of the old R&D equipment that we used to use to make solders or consumables with, which we do not need anymore. So you can use these as experience if you have them. Complex material, we used to use these to craft items, but we never used them before. So now we can use it as experience to get the high rank of this higher, so we get more might and weaponizing rating, which is part of the damage and might powers do from your weapons. Okay, so I can sort of click, it tells me it has used 320 experience and have damage item experience left to the next rank, which is 193. So that is how you level up your origin arguments. And another way of leveling this up is by salvaging your gear. So if I go to a R&D station, I'll show you very quickly what that does, because the quickest way to get your mods leveled up is by salvaging your gear, because they will drop you something in your inventory that will give you a massive amount of experience, and they are called exobyte. So as you can see, these exobytes you can make yourself by using the exo material, which were called exobytes, which you could collect outside in Gotham or Metropolis. So instead of being called exobytes, they are now called exo material. And to get these particular different ones, there's loads of them. The higher this MK, higher the number after MK, the higher experience you get. So right now 13 is the highest one in the game, and I believe that gives you 17,000 experience. So you have one for precision, one for might based, one for you have one for all the different roles. But if you choose a specific one for the role you are trying to level up for, you get the bonus experience with it. Okay, so you get slightly bit more. Okay, so let me salvage my gear and I'll show you very quickly. So if I salvage this, higher the item level, the higher the MK level exobyte I will get, and the more experience I can put into my mods. So if I salvage this, it's giving me one of these. So if I go to my inventory, it has given me a flawed MK4 vital exobyte. Okay, so now it says vital, which means it's for controllers, but I can still use it for my might mod. If I go scroll down, there you go, 147 experience, which is not bad. So now if I go to my controller one, it should give me a slightly more bonus, which it did. So I get 50 more % experience if I use this particular vital exobyte, which is for controllers, on a controller mod. Okay, so that's one key thing, please. So if you get a solid MK, that's for might, it actually tells you in the names. So if you go down to mighty rune, this one will be called a solid MK exobyte. This one will be called a vital MK exobyte. This will be of course called a dominating MK exobyte, then restoring, and then this one will be called a precise. If I show you quickly, so solid, might, precision. I don't have any healer ones because that's not a part of my role, but they are called something. I've got what they're called, but I believe they're called origin something exobytes. Okay, so you can either get these from your gear, or you can craft them from your research and development area, and then there you go, then you have a lot of experience. So hope that's just a small overview of the changes they did. But if you're a new player and watching this, ignore everything I've said about the old way of doing things, but this is how you level up your mods. Okay, the two ways to do it: you can either use the old items you had before the changes, but if you do not have any of these, you would definitely have nth metal, which you can use. Okay, which you can use as well, but I would keep these for your artifacts. these are the main things that you need to level up these very quickly, and they give you 50% extra experience if you use it for the correct mod. Okay, so now the next part of the video I will be going over the traits menu. So I am a hard light, of course. If I go to my light tab and go to each one of these items, it actually tells me what they are, which is same as before. Changes, loadout section is completely the same. Controller damage, weapons has changed now. So before you had if you spec into all of the weapons, you had on the left hand side under the description, you had stats over there saying you get this much health or this much resto if you go down to the trees, but now that's gone. Now you just simply spec into your weapons you need. If you're going to be a weapon based, precision based damage, if you are not and you're might based, you can just leave this alone. So you have all the weapons. They do not give you stats anymore like they used to before. So for new players, this is your weapons menu. You can choose whatever weapon you want, and then when you're doing missions, you will get a weapon box. Let me see if I can find it. So a weapon box will look something like this. I'll show you right now. So depending on what you put into here, so depending on what you put in here is the weapon choice you will be given once you open up a weapon box. So let me go over to one of these vendors and I will show you what they look like. So if I go to my weapons area, there you go. So using this item will consume it and allow you to choose a weapon box. So now we are not given weapons as drops, maybe in the very low tier missions, but any of the new episodes since episode, I would say since the beginning, halfway between T7 onwards, is where if you get a weapon box, it will give you an option to choose whatever you have spec'd into here. So if you, at the moment, the only options I will get is rifle only, because I've only put one into rifle. if I put one in the bow, it'll give me 2 options and so on. Okay, so before you open these weapon boxes, if you want to get a bow, please go into your weapon tree and spec into bow once only, and then go in, open your weapon mod box, and then you will get 2 options, rifle and bow. Then choose a bow, simple as that. Because a rifle is my default weapon I chose when I created this character, so that's always going to be there. So the flight menu is, I believe, the same. Just go through whatever you want to choose. Iconics is pretty much the same as well. So now stat points. This is where everything has changed. So if you go into stat points, if you're looking at this as a new player, you might think, whoa, this is confusing, but it is not. I'll break it down for you. So you have 3 options at the beginning. Okay, I have chosen this option because I am a might based power and I am going to be focused super powered. So for hybrids, it actually tells you what is recommended for, so you don't get confused. Damage superpowers are might based. Hybrid ones, it can be for damage, both types. So both types, it means precision and might can use hybrid if they want to. And these are also recommended for controller, healers and tanks. So hybrid is a middle ground for everyone to use, is what they're saying. Okay, so now focus weapon expert is for the precision based damage. where you only use your weapons pretty much 90% of the time. The only time you would use your powers is to get the weapon buff, which all powers have. Okay, so it tells you as well, it gives you 10% total weapon damage, but it gives you no power regeneration compared to superpowered, which it does, because you'll be using your powers all the time, and this gives you 10% might and power as well on top of all that. So hybrid, this only gives you power back if you use your weapons, because this is a balance between the two sides, precision and might. Okay, so it gives you might as well, but this also gives you dominance, restoration and vitalization if you go into this option. I would recommend damage powers, might based, use superpowered please, controllers, tanks and healers, hybrid, weapons expert is precision. Okay, the only time a controller or healer will go superpowered is because of the 25% power regeneration. So the more power you have as a controller and healer, the more heals or power you can give out to the group. But some controllers go hybrid. It's your own personal choice. Okay, I'm not gonna put down anyone for choosing either one of these two here for their choices of healing or controlling. Okay, so let's go over the damage. So I'm gonna, for might based, I will spec one skill point into here. If you have the skill points, please max out your attack chance and attack damage always, and then rest of your skill points will go into might and power. Okay, so now let's say you're a tank. Depending on your tank type, you will always go into hybrid because of that extra 5% dom and restoration. Then you can either put fire tanks, put 20 and 40 to get the maximum self-healing. Atomics, you are not affected by this, so just put 10 into here, 10 into here. Same for ice and rage and earth as well, just 10 is fine. But for fire I would go 20 40, and the rest of my skill points would either go into dom and between dom and restore or health. It depends how you want to spec, but basically tanks, all of your options for specking are here: healing chance, magnitude, dominance and health and restoration. So as you can see, the maximum you can put into each one of these trees, this is where all of the stats come from now. Instead of few weapons, now they'll all come from here. Restoration 2v5, this is for precision, healers, controllers and tanks, health tanks of course, and then might based damage powers from here. So simple as that. So now healer, tank and controllers would spec into this, and instead of going into any of these, they will now go for controller, would go into full 20 here, full 10. Try to either max this or this out, because if you go super powered, then more, because this is the only area in the skill point which gives you power. So more power you have, the more power you can give out to the group, and the faster your regeneration will be, and the more power pool you will have to spam that power back as a controller. So I would say go balance between the two. If you don't have enough skill points, if you have high skill points, max out your might and power, then put the rest into your vitalization after maxing these two. So now for tanks, I've already gone over. Your trees that you need to be concerned about is the dominance, health, restore and these two here. You can go into these if you're in your battle tank, but that's a different style of playing. Try to keep it simple as possible. Okay, and for healers the same thing, max out your critical healing chance and magnitude, because you are the lifeline for the group, and then put everything into restoration. Anything you have left you can either put into dominance, might and power or health. It's totally down to you, but you can also go super powered as well. It's totally how you want to play it. but always make sure you max out this and this tree, and then go into either might and power or dominance or health. Okay, please make sure you max these two out, then max out this as much as you can, because the more restoration you have, the more damage you can heal, basically. So now for precision based damage, you have to go weapons expert. You can go hybrid, but to do the most damage from the weapons, please go into weapons expert. For any damage based power, for might you go into here, which I have. You have to max out this attack chance to 20 and attack damage to 40 to make sure you get the critical damage that you need to do the damage. So depending on if you're might based, you'll be going to put all of your skill points into here. If you're precision based, which is going to be weapons expert, then the rest of your skill points will go into precision to get the maximum damage you can. So that's just a quick overview of the traits menu. These areas have not changed as much, but it's just the stack points area has changed completely. Okay, so hopefully this guide was useful for some of you guys. Thank you. Okay, so in this part of the video I will be going over I've gone over the mods, the traits menu, the stats menu. So now my next business will be going over adaptive arguments. So these adaptive arguments, I can't see anything because I'm low level, but if you go to Earth, I think Earth 3 had them, I cannot remember. No, they did not. No, they did not. Okay, so these adaptive arguments were introduced with the, I believe it was with the Titan episode, where these adaptive arguments reduced damage in the Titan raids and gave you extra stat points, health, dominance, healers, and tank, you name it. Okay, to make it easier, I'll show you guys actually what these adaptive arguments are like and what they say they do. So let me go to my highest tune, which is this one here, and I'll quickly show you all of the adaptive arguments they've released so far in the game. So the first adaptive arguments we had was with the Titan episode, I believe. Quote me if I'm wrong. And then from there it has stayed in the game. So let me head out to the watchtower and I'll show you guys what these are and what they say in the description, and it's pretty interesting to see. Please note these adaptive arguments are only available once you hit the required CR for that particular episode. So as you could see on my other tune, I could not see it in the vendor. So if you go to the Titan equipment, where is it? There you go. So you can buy 2 of these because you have 2 slots into your let me change the channel, sorry about that. So you have 2 slots. So these dominating dark adaptive arguments are from the most recent episode, which is Justice League of Dark episode 34. So as you can see, once I level these up by using the same stuff that I showed that you use to level up your origin arguments, they can be used to level up your adaptive arguments. Okay, so you can use the same, but for these you need catalysts. Okay, so let me go to my fortify menu. Let me see, let me just buy one of these. Okay, so I bought one of the might ones. So if I click in to go to the fortify menu to see it, because once you buy it you won't be able to see it in the inventory. The only way to see it is through the fortify menu, and the arguments menu, okay, which is where you can change this out and put it into there. So let's go to the fortify menu, let's click onto might. As you can see, it needs experience, go to rank 1, and it tells you at each one of these ranks what it does. And these are the catalysts which you need, and you may be asking, how do I get these? You get these from doing the actual episode. So some of these changeling life force, dropping duos, alerts. Some of the harder ones at the higher ranks come from doing the normal raids, and they're dropping the elite raids as well, but they all come from the raids, okay? Or some of these come from bounties, but it tells you where they come from. Teen Titans, the Judas contract. Basically, do the content, get these catalysts. Once you have enough of them and you have enough experience, you can get to your first milestone of rank 15. The highest rank is 23, so you have 15, 17 I think, then 21, then 23 are the 3 ranks for all of the adaptive arguments in the game they have released so far. As you can see, once I get up to rank 15, it gives me more might, because the one I bought was for might based powers. Adaptive arguments, I could buy 2 of them. I could buy 2 of these, so I don't have enough marks now, so you can buy 2 of these for your tank, 2 of these for your healers, 2 of these for your controllers, and 2 of these for precision. And they all give you, for this particular episode, because this was new, they all gave 2% might and precision. But if I go to the other episodes, they all give you different stats depending on the ones you use. So if you go to the most recent episode, which is over here, I think I need to go inside. No, I don't. Yes, I do. So let me head on inside and I'll show you the difference. So for the restore adaptive arguments, which you get from this episode, gives you healer based stats. So to get these arguments for this current episode, the Dark Justice, you go to this guy here. So as you can see, for might ones, it gives you 3% might and power. For precision, 5% precision. While inside this particular content, outside the content, it will not work. Restoring is 3% restore on power. For controllers, it's 3% vitalization on power. So as you can see, as they evolved with the with these arguments, in the different episodes, they started changing the stats they gave us depending on the ones you chose. And please note, you need to be at the required CR to see all of these adaptive arguments. So for Teen Titans, you need a CR of 230 to buy these adaptive arguments, and that will only work for this episode. So if you go to the next episode, which is Atlantis, your Titan adaptive arguments will not work. You will need to get Atlantis ones, and then the ones in the current episode, you will need them as well. So let me go over the current ones. So as you can see, in this particular adaptive argument, gives me additional gear choice, and it also reduces damage from a particular boss in one of the raids. And then it says 2 arguments, there's even less damage from one of the special attacks from the bosses, and it also gives me a reduction from the madness meter, which is part of the mechanic in Shattered Gotham Elite and normal. So as you can see, these adaptive arguments do actually help you in the actual content to take reduced damage and so on. So if I go to this one here, it's, if you read carefully, take 5% less environmental damage in Teen Titans. So just by having this level up to a certain rank, you take 5% less damage. So for a tank this is very valuable, but as a group, as a healer damage or controller, it put less strain on the healers themselves. Then it says take 15% less damage from Hive in the Team Titan. So if you have two of these, that's 30% less damage, then that's 10% less damage. So you can see how important these adaptive arguments really are, and they use the same, and you can level these up by the same way that you level up your origin arguments. So hopefully this video clarified what these adaptive arguments are, and to use these you need to go to your arguments section, and this is where you can change all your mods. So let's say I wanted to take off all of these, which are my tank ones. Let's say I wanted to go full might, I'll just put in all of my mights, then I can change these as well. Simple as that. Now if I want to change back, I'll just take everything out again, and then go down to my dominant and put them all back in. Simple as that. So these are your 4 mods. Then above it is your episode specific adaptive arguments, which will change every single episode. Okay, as you can see, I'm at the highest rank for this current episode, and it's giving me all of these effects while I'm inside this actual content. Because the 3%, well, together with both the arguments, it gives me 6% dominance and health. I will not get that outside the content. That's the one thing you guys need to understand. But you do get the stats. So the normal stats, which are in the green numbers just below required level 30, I do get these: 1090 health, 319 dominance. Same for this one, I do get that, but I do not get the 3% dominance and health once I'm outside. So that's one key thing I want to mention before I finish up this part of the video. Okay, so as you can see, these are all the artifacts which I will go over in the next part of the video, explaining what they are and so on. So just to recap, what I've gone over is the mods section, the adaptive arguments, which are tied in with different episodes, and they change all the time. These will never change. These will only change the rank level. So at the moment the maximum rank is 237, but once a new episode comes out, it will go up by 10 ranks. So the next rank will be 247, and this rank will increase the stats as we go into more and more and more episodes. So that's the only thing that would change here, are the rank levels. Okay, that's the only thing that would change. Okay, so this particular part of the video I will be going over artifacts. So now, first of all, to even get an artifact, you will need to go to the watchtower and speak to someone called John Constantine. Once you've spoken to him, he will give you a mission where it will say go to the Oblivion Bar, is what it's called. So let me show you where John Constantine is. He's over here. So this guy will sell you all of the artifacts in the game. So there are some artifacts which you can get from this vendor as well, but it requires you to have a different currency. So you can see there are some artifacts here, like these ones, which you cannot get from the other vendor. But to get these quarks, you need to open up time capsules, which you need to pay for, of course. And then this one is another vendor, which you use quarks to buy whatever you want. These are feat related items, like the speed force material, the aura, and so on. These are all account bound, by the way, so you can't sell them. And you have a few gear drops as well, which are style based feats. Okay, so let's go over the artifacts. So now the artifacts I am using for my tank right now. So all the tank artifacts I'm going to show you right now so far in the game are: this one here gives you health when I pull enemies, this one heals me and gives me extra defense, and it also gives me heals every time I'm hit, scaling with my restoration. Manicus of Force gives me a damage absorption up to 50%, cooldown on all of my shields by 10%. Bottled City Soda, that is from the other vendor I just came from. This actually gives me, depending on the roll, on my tank roll, it absorbs damage up to 8% of max health. For healers, it restores 5% of max health. Damage gives me 1% might and precision for 8 seconds, and controller roll restores 5% of max power. So this is like a soda that you can use. This is the same thing as artifacts, you level it up. And this is another tank artifact that you can use every time you use a supercharge. In tank and healer role, it will heal me. In controller role, it gives power to anyone inside this bubble. Okay, it only works when you use a supercharge, that's the key thing. I am Gemini. And for damage people, it actually increases anyone's damage who's inside the circle, and any damage they do, you gain that damage added onto yourself as well. This is a precision artifact. Okay, just a might based artifact, another might based artifact, another precision based. This is a precision based, and I would say this is a tank based artifact as well because of the health and dominance it gives. This is another precision based artifact, but it's also a tank based artifact because of the dom and health it gives as well. So that's all the artifacts I have on this tune. Now to obtain these artifacts, first you will need to speak to John Constantine, do a mission called Oblivion Bar, which I'll show you in a second. Once you have completed that mission, it will give you a choice of 4 artifacts, and you can choose the artifacts you need. So let me go to my healer, and I'll show you the healer artifacts I have. Once I've shown you all the artifacts, then I'll go to a low level tune and I'll show you where this mission is. And once you've done that mission, it gives you a choice of artifacts. So now, this is my healer tune. So now if I go to my arguments, as you can see, I have the healer ones. It gives me the stats, and it also gives me 3% restoration and power once I'm inside the Justice League Dark content. And I have my healer mods, as you can see, all leveled up to the maximum rank. Okay, so now to the artifacts, if you go to the Fortify menu, so the ones I am using are I am Gemini. So every time I use a supercharge, everyone around me gets heals. Demon Fang, this I use for restoring power every time I use my weapons, and it also gives me restoration, precision, power and health. And it also restores me power, and it also there's a tiny bit of damage to my target. So Orbo Orion is every time I use my priority heal, it uses a lot of power. So if you go to my where is it gone? Rejuvenate. So that's the total power cost because of that particular artifact. So now let's see what it does. Magic increases the effectiveness of cooldown, the power cost of your priority heal by 300% upon casting. This guy I summon, it will heal 100% of my base priority heal every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. So in these 9 seconds, it will instantly heal anyone who loses their health from 0 health to 100%. So this is a must-have power for healers. I know some healers don't use it because of the power cost. As you can see, the power cost, my power bar is nearly empty. So please use this. Do not spam this in a raid. Only use it when you need to, or there's a massive drop in the tank's health. Only use it, okay? So rely on your other powers, but do not rely on this all the time, because then the controller is going to be moaning at you saying, why are you using so much power? Okay, and you might get kicked from a raid if you're constantly spamming this for no reason and there's no one in the group losing their health. Okay, so very simple as that. Okay, so that's my healer artifacts. There are other healer artifacts which I'll show you right now, but this is my own personal choice, because if we go to John Constantine, the other healer artifacts, I'll show you this one here. So using a group heal grants you and up to 7 group members health equal to, well, at different ranks this percentage will change of your restoration. The only reason I stopped using this is because of the Orb Orion artifact. It started using a lot of power, so I use Demon Fang to get most of the power back every time I use my weapons, and it gets my power bar from 0 to 100% very quickly. So simple as that. As a healer artifacts, let me go to my controller tool and I'll show you my controller artifacts, and then I'll move on to the mission you need to do to get the artifacts in the first place, and then I'll go over how to level up your arguments and where to get the catalyst from. So now for my controller, I usually using Scrap of Soul Club. So every time you use a supercharge ability, it increases the cooldown of it, okay? And it also increases my maximum supercharge as generation as well. So the faster supercharge I can regen, the more I can spam my supercharge, which actually gives power to the group, okay? The more power I can give out. So that's the reasoning for why I use this. So Amulet of Row, every time I use a debuff, it hits the target harder, and it also debuffs 2 additional enemies near the target. At the moment I have not leveled this up to the maximum rank, which is 160 rank. It's at 136. As you can see, it tells you the full rank, 40% of my controller debuffs are stronger and hits up to 4 additional enemies. So now power side power harness is a must-have artifact for controllers. So every time you use a controller debuff, it grants you and 7 group members power equal to 80% of your vitalization and precision, equal to so much of your vitalization. So this essentially gives you so it uses your vitalization and precision. So it gives 2 things. It gives vitalization and precision to your group, and it also restores them power. So all you have to do is do this, the 3 debuffs, and where is it gone? Okay, it's not showing up for some reason, but this artifact processes and it gives me the extra power that I need to give power back to the group. So this is a must-have artifact. These 2 are must-have artifacts. This one you can change. You can have the other artifact, which is a claw artifact, which is really good because it increases my power regeneration by 20%, and it also gives me 7% might, restoration, dominance to the whole group for 12 seconds. Personally, I don't use this because then you do start to struggle to give power back to the group sometimes if you don't have what some controllers don't use it. I don't use it. I've always been fine without using it in a raid. All the groups had power all the time. I would say this is more for battle controllers, but you can use it for your main controller. It's totally down to you. Let's say you're doing a very hard content, this is where this artifact will come into play because of the 7% might, restoration and dominance. It also gives precision, but it doesn't say that in the description, but it also gives precision to the group as well. I will get this ranked up soon, but at the moment I'm going to leave it as it is. But yeah, this artifact, Parasite, Amulet Roll, Scrap of Soul Cloak are your 4 artifacts which you can play around with. Okay, yeah, that's all I need to go over, I believe. Yeah, that's it. Now to level up these artifacts, as I mentioned before at the start of the video, you need to have something called Nth Metal. So now there are 3 ways you can get this. So number 1, you can kill any enemies in the game, and every 10 minutes it gives you an Nth Metal drop. So this can be in a raid, duo, alert, or a solo instance, or even outside, killing random villains. Anything you kill in the game basically will give you an Nth Metal drop and a time capsule drop. Don't worry about time capsules right now, I'll go over that in the next video, okay? Because there's a lot of feats tied to these time capsules. A lot of your skill points will come from here, okay? So now with these Nth Metal, I can use this to level up my artifacts. As you can see, I've gained that extra tiny bit of experience for my next round, which also gives me more stats. And now the second way of getting more Nth Metal, as you can see, weekly bonus Nth Metal, artifacts Nth Metal, is by doing the vote, or you can do the stabilizer event, which also gives you Nth Metal as well. Okay, so that's the 2 ways. Sorry about that, I just had a phone call. So stabilizer fragmentation, Nth Metal, and the vote Nth Metal is the second way. The third way is getting the drops from defeating enemies. There is another way of getting faster, what's it called, faster Nth Metal. If I go to the broker and show you, you get these by opening up time capsules. Let me go to a broker and show you very quickly, and I'll move on to the mission, how to start to get your artifacts in the first place. So now if I go over to the broker and type in Nth Metal, or just type in NTH, let me see what comes up. So there you go. So where's it gone? There you go. Nth Metal cash. So these they dropped, I believe they dropped from opening time capsules, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it gives you these options. Purified Nth Metal will give you the highest Nth Metal, which is around 3000 experience, I believe. Then these blue ones I think give you around 600 to 800. Green ones around 100, 200. Treated around 50 to 75. Then the white ones are just very low. So you can buy these off the broker as well if you have the cash. As you can see, the cheapest one right now is, just for one of these, it's going to be the around 750k. Now another way is an nth metal detector. So this is where you can buy these off the broker, and you can, I believe you can sell them as well, because it says you cannot trade across platforms. But this gives you a higher chance of drop rate of the nth metal when it gives you, basically it just increases your chances of getting more nth metal for, I believe it's for 30 minutes. So you can buy these as well, but you can only buy these for PC and PlayStation. So if a PlayStation tries to sell their nth metal detector to a PC player, it won't work, because as it says in the description, cannot trade across platforms, cannot delete, cannot sell, but you can put it on the broker for some reason. I don't know how that works, but it's on there. Okay, so that's just a brief explanation on what artifacts are. These are the key things that gives you stat points and helps you with the damage, healing, tanking and controlling in the game now. The mods help as well, but the artifacts help by a large percentage right now. Without artifacts you will be very weak in your damage, healing, controlling and tanking. At the maximum you can have right now, when these were first released it was only 1, then they increased their value to 2, now it's 3. Maybe in future we might have a 4th slot, but I'm not sure. So any artifacts you do get over the time, please keep them, do not delete them, because you may need them as they increase these slots of artifacts maybe to 4 to 5 to 6 in the far future of DC. So now let me go over to my other toon, which is lower level, which has no artifacts, and I'll show you what you need to do. So let me go over to this. I think let me see, do you have a toon somewhere? Let me try this one out. But I think I've done a mission for this, I can't remember. But I'll show you. All you need to do is find John Constantine in the watchtower, go and speak to him, he will give you a mission. Okay, it looks like I've done the mission. Let me have a look. Let's see. Let me go to the vendor, let's see. Okay. Oh, John Constantine, be quiet. I guess I have to go to my lower level toons and show you lot. No. Just go to this guy here. If I can't show you, but if I can't find it or the mission isn't there, all you have to do is go to your journal, find a mission called Oblivion Bar. Oh, come on. Is it that low level? Wow. Okay, I don't think I'll be able to show you guys. Let me see on this one. So this is my level 5 toon. Let me see. I don't think I'm high enough to. Let me go to John Constantine first and see what I see. So the same location as before. There you go.
So what's
Haha, very funny. So I'm not eligible for anything. But that's what you do. You go to speak to him once you're eligible. I believe it's level 25 and above or something like that. So once you speak to him, you go to your events tab, and under here there's going to be a mission called Oblivion Bar. Once you've done that mission, you go back to him and speak to him. That is when you can see all the menus for the artifacts. So I believe that's the artifacts covered and how to rank them. One last thing, yeah. Right, so let me go over to my main tune. Now the catalyst you need to level up your artifacts. There are two ways you can get them. You can either buy them from the marketplace, or you can go to John Constantine and get a box called the Nth Metal Cache is how you pronounce it, I think. There you go. So this cache contains one of your choice from all available artifact catalysts. So if I open one, I think I have one here somewhere. Yeah, I do. So I can get the level 20 to 160. I have a choice between them. Okay, so let me find the artifacts which may need leveling up. I don't think I do need anything leveling up, do I? No, I do not. But you choose what you want. So let's say I wanted to choose 20. Now go to my inventory, I open one up, and there's a catalyst I need required to break through to level 20. There you go, simple as that. Now the higher rank you go, the harder it becomes to break through to the next rank. So I would say between 20 to 100 is where you can level up your arguments all the way through without having any failed breakthroughs in any of your artifacts, okay? Which, because a failed breakthrough is you lose all the catalysts that you brought, so then that wastes your time, it wastes, you know, everything, okay? So I think one of my healer tunes, they have a artifact that needs leveling up. So the higher rank you go, the less percentage chance you have of actually getting a successful breakthrough. Once it's loaded, I'll show you. So if I go over to, so as you can see, where's it gone? So all of these are different for the different ranks. For 80 you need 4 of these, 3 of these, 2 of these, and you can buy these from this guy here. And for all the different ranks is different. So for 160 I have these already, they're all different. Let's go to a different rank. So for rank 80 is different as well. Now for rank 20, as you can see, I need 2 of these. So at rank 20 I get 1% precision, okay? So if I go to this guy and buy 2, because I need 2 catalysts, as you can see from here, where's it gone? I need 2 of these, so I need to buy 2 from John Constantine, and they cost 10 source marks each, which you get from the game by doing content. Where is it gone? there you go. So I need 2 level 20 catalysts. So that's one. Open next. Okay. Open the next one. Okay. The pest close. Now if we go down, open one. Okay, I need one. Open next, and I need another one. Perfect. Now I have 2 of these which I need for the rank 20 artifact. As you can see, the success chance is 100% for 20. It's always going to be 100%. But as this rank goes higher to 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140 and 160, the success chance will go very low. So as you approach 140, the success chance is 10%. For 160, I believe is only very low. I think it's 5% only. So now, to get around this problem and issue at the higher ranks, you can do 2 things. You can either buy time stabilizers from the marketplace to open up time capsules, and they give you a very rare drop of preservation seals, which protects your catalyst in case of a failed breakthrough, which you put inside your where is it gone? Legionnaire. So this is, there you go. So this is where you put your seal of preservation to protect this catalyst from getting deleted if it fails a breakthrough. Okay, so you can either use the time capsules to get these rare drops of preservations of seals, or you can go to the marketplace, go to artifacts and seal of completion. It will ensure the breakthrough attempt is successful. It guarantees a successful breakthrough and is consumed in the process. So with this seal of completion, it costs a bit more because it will give you that guarantee breakthrough of your artifact, no matter the chance. No matter if it's 5%, it'll change from 5 to 100 with this artifact. If you don't have the cash for that, you can just go here, buy the seal of preservation. It's a pack of 4, and these are here. They will not change your chance, they will not increase it. Your chance of successful breakthrough will remain the same. If you're going for 160 rank, it'll stay at 5%, but this will protect your artifacts. Okay, so seal of preservation and completion if you have enough to get that successful breakthrough at the very high ranks. So I believe I've covered everything around artifacts. If you want specific guides on what artifacts to use for your specific power set or your role, you can go on YouTube. There's a lot of great videos by YouTubers like Obsidian Chill, who does very in-depth guides on all power sets. I will put that in the description, the link to his YouTube channel. Check it out. He has literally every power set he's covered in the game. Damage, healing, tanking, every power set, what artifacts is used, which ones he thinks is good, well, in his own opinion. But everyone in the game uses the same artifacts. So give his videos a watch, and hopefully his videos will help you out what artifacts to choose. Hopefully my videos helped you out to understand what artifacts that really are and how to get them. Okay, because on the marketplace you can, if you have the station cash, you can go to artifacts and you can buy these experience packs. So you get 75,000 artifacts experience to jumpstart your artifacts. Then this one is I believe 12,000 or something. Oh, it's a starter pack, my bad. So with the starter pack, it'll give you one-time choice between these artifacts, so you can choose any one of these, and if it will give you a nth metal detectors pack. This is where you get it from, and it'll give you enough artifacts and catalysts to get to rank 40. of choice of your artifacts from here. So whatever you choose from here is the artifact would go to rank 40 for you. So that's another option you can choose if you have the money for it to kickstart your artifacts, okay? Or you can buy these detectors from here. So, or you can buy all the catalysts from the marketplace if you don't have enough source marks to get it from John Constantine. So there's so many ways that you can get your catalyst and nth metal to level up your artifacts. You can either choose the easy way by spending money, or you can choose the long way without spending money and doing it slowly over time. So it's totally down to you. So that's everything on the artifacts. I think my next area will be, I believe, going over just the basic small changes are made to tanks and healers and TPS, because back in the day you had advanced mechanics, all that's gone. Yeah, and some of the tank powers have changed as well, so that will be my next part of the video. So yeah, okay, so in this, I think this may be the last part of the video. I will be going over what they changed in regards to the actual different roles like controllers, healers and tanks. So first thing they did for healers was they increased our restoration. So they gave us a tiny bit more restoration because when they did a revamp of the whole game from advanced mechanics, healers restorations all went down. When they took out the mods, the restoration was very low and healers were actually struggling with the power and healing in raids. So the base restoration was increased, and that fixed the healing part of the game for healers, and they gave us a bit more power base, and they also increased the power and healer stats on the healers, on the healer gears. So as you can see, I have a lot of power, 3000 power just from this chest piece, 2000 power. Before, their power stats were very low. Okay. So now, and we go to my tank. So now for the tank powers, a lot have changed. Before with rage you would get 100% damage, not damage absorption, 100% healing back on all damage, but now 75%. Fire tanks, you used to get triple health, but now that's gone. You only get probably double, and you get double the, you don't get double the health, you get double and a bit of health for fire tanks. For atomic tanks, they decrease the damage absorption from, I think it was 45% to only 25%, but the 40% dominance based off your healing is the same. For ice tanks, they removed the triple defense and toughness you used to get. Now you just get normal defense based on your dominance. So the more dominance you have, the more defense you have, vice versa. For earth tanks, they added a immunity power which heals the earth tanks slightly as well, and they made the brick slightly better. It's still a bit buggy here and there. For ice tanks, they reduced the damage absorption reflection used to have. They made it weaker, because at the moment Winter Ward is your best shield for ice tanks. Before it used to be Winter Ward, I mean not Winter Ward reflection, but now it's Winter Ward. So that's sad news for ice tanks. I think that's about it. Atomic, fire, ice. I think yeah, I think that's about it. And for might based powers, they went over and they might at the moment is very weak because there's a artifact for the precision users, which gives you 54% precision, and our value does not change. It stays with you as long as you're damaging, and because of that, might DPS has suffered, but I believe there's a fix for that. There's so many things which the developers are now trying to fix. It is going to take time, but since revamp, it left a lot of things buggy for different power sets. Like some powers do slightly more damage than others, so the balancing of powers did not go according to plan as they wanted. And PvP is broken as well. I mean, it is broken, trust me. There's healers which don't die anymore, even with PvP grenades thrown at them. There's tanks which don't die, pretty much. You got rage DPS doing a lot of damage just by spamming the powers, because you get infinite power now with PvP gear. When you're outside the arenas, the power bar doesn't move, so you can spam with your powers and just kill anything in your path. Mental powers, they're broken. With the hand mod you can use, same with gadget. Quantum time bomb hits very hard now with the amulet of Rao, with the debuffs and everything. So there's a lot of stuff wrong with PvP right now, which they are hopefully trying to fix by the end of this year. So I think that's it for the whole video. Hopefully this video was helpful to someone who's returning to the game or someone new to the game, and hopefully I've covered everything that I needed to cover. If I did miss anything out, please let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to make another video covering that area. So thank you for watching. Please comment below what did you think of the video, or anything that I might have missed, and any tips that I might have missed out on. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.